So yeah, I wouldn't be against that gimmick staying around, but I'd want them to figure out how to. And again, this is for someone who doesn't do the online play.
Yeah. I from my kind of point of view, at least from I suppose like a hypothetical point of view, I'm glad that they didn't do this thing where they had Dynamax where certain Pokemon had like
Special form.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that personally.
Yeah.
With Megas, I can accept it if you're doing it for a meta point of view. If you're doing it to say like, okay, we know this thing is strong. Here's an alternative. Here's a plan B, and it's a kind of a rolling thing. As I said, like I would like if you had the capability, and we know they do, but it just won't. To put out a Mega every few months or whatever, they can do that. That is possible. Would you want to? is kind of central to the issue, you know. But that's a different thing altogether. Like at least with Terra Styling, it means that literally everything's open, and then let the players decide what becomes the strongest.
So now we've got the Stellar type.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
It's a bit of a whiff, to be honest, but that's fine. Like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be a world beater at the same time. Like, the way it works is, at least it doesn't have, like, a stupid advantage over everything else. It doesn't change the Pokemon's typing, but it gives it stat bonus to everything. So if you have a Pokemon that has, like, 4 different types as moves, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great. Boom, everything has stat bonus.
Yeah.
It does mean that you're still whatever vulnerabilities you still have are still
whenever you
there.
have to start, you're still there. Yeah,
you're still there. It's good for paradoxes, I think. Like I would be expecting a paradox, like say of the past Suicune or Raikou, though something that you can get 4 type moves on. That I think is going to work quite strongly on something like Suicune because you have the Stellar type. You now have a stat bonus on a Water or Dragon or Fire move potentially on that. That will be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
You know? Likewise, I don't think the future ones will probably have the same benefit, except maybe Hariyama, because that one is a murder on Terra Raids. So Belly Drum, and then any fucking move it has, it'll kill anything in sight.
Have you done the Blaziken yet?
No, not yet. But I already have a Blaziken poured over from like games gone by, so I don't need one again. Okay. You know.
Next one's been one of my favourites for the series.
Yeah, but like a Crocodile with Moxie, it just fucking works. Yeah. It just works, you know. And like case in point now we're going through the gears.
How did that work there? Like
just fucking blitzed it.
Shield.
Blitzed it. Like he probably picked something else, I guess.
But he didn't go attack for him.
I know. I don't know.
What would he? Fair enough.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. So, but again, that's when you have a Pokemon with the right ability and it plays to your advantage. You know.
Yeah.
Like I think like this is what I'm looking at as well. Like especially for giving everything a fair chance, you do want to have like if you're gonna go for a Pokemon that's a bit meh but has a good ability, play to the ability.
Yeah.
But you have a Pokemon that's good and it has good moves, then the ability is just a bit of a bonus, you know. And again, some things kind of balance out well that way. I know for me currently setting stuff up at the moment, I'm kind of going by the hypothetical of what this Pokemon's ideal moveset would be, and go from there. And then that goes into my thinking then of like, okay, I'm not going to do items because that's a fucking head melt and I don't have enough.
Yeah.
So what's the best like what would make it for an interesting Terra type? And again, there'd be certain ones that I'm thinking like, okay, do you know what? I could make this a bit more of a curveball if I give it a 3rd type. And that's what I like. There's a bit of creative freedom about setting up your boys, you know. And
now, did it have? Is it sturdy or did it have a full set?
I think it literally just got to 1 HP. Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a little bit of randomness in the damage calculator, and that's just an example of that. And again, choice man. Again, you can tell I'm doing these on different days because I keep making the same mistakes.
Yeah.
But we'll see, anyway. I like the design of Cryogonal, the Mega Cryogonal, but it's like, it's definitely a Mega just for the
sake of a Mega.
For the sake of the Elite Four, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, you could argue the Megas were like that anyway.
Except none of the Elite Four had.
Yeah.
Mega.
I was thinking more so for the especially for Omega Ruby. It was like okay, this one, or you know what, it was the Dynamax ones I was thinking of. Like, the ones that were Dynamax moves, the one they picked were just for the people. Like, if you were to do, like, hypothetically, where, like, if someone had to use a Dynamax form, that one is boxed out. The only 4 available to you are the 3 starters and Kingler. It's like, whatever, that just defeats the purpose, you know? So I've just been mulling over what do I think Starmie's going to go with. And I was proven wrong. I was hoping to be a psychic attack.
I was always going to decide that based off.
I was hoping to go for a psychic move or whatever, but as you said, it was always going to target a weakness on the wearer. So yeah, I think I'll miss Terra Styling in the end once it does get replaced with the newest mechanic. Because like I said, I think there was, especially because like if there was a mooted like Gen 5 reboot, you couldn't really justify a Terra Styling mechanic in it, because unless there was some sort of crazy fucking, like, you know, crossover thing, but I can't see it
like
happening.
they made terrestrializing a thing around the area. You know, you're just off the coast of.
But that's because they said in text they brought that energy in. They did that, like they basically imported the energy in. So again, unless they do something where, like, say for some reason fucking T Plasma brings this, like, some sort of, like, you know, Terra Styling stuff around, then you can make the arguments. But again, that's just extending the gimmick when it's kind of already been done.
I kind of think it could, like, wishful thinking, if in opening up the DLC you got a little cutscene of, hey, we're going through Unova in order to get here. Like, you're just taking it like, yes, we're just off the coast of
New Mark City. Yeah, I mean, that could work, yeah.
But like, not that it matters to be SWAT in the end.
Look, I accept I'm overthinking this, because, like, realistically, the reason why Megas were in Omega Ruby was that the X and Y bottled it.
It's the same engine.
But they fucked it. They bottled the delivery of it. You know, this is their first time. Like, I accept your point about the gems in Gen 5, but this was the first time they tried a completely different battle mechanic, something in play essentially. Yeah. And they didn't drive it home hard enough. They didn't do enough with it. And
it was a dipping the toe in the water to see how receptive are people to this, or should this be something confined to one game only? It's
a fair point. It's the first time they did it, and they weren't to know whether we'd like it or not. And that's I understand that.
Why go balls to the wall? Same as the inverse battles. Hey, let's see if people are receptive to this.
Oh, they did not. No. Yeah. So yeah, I suppose, like, they kind of got their data and realized, okay, this works, this doesn't.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's understandable. And like I said, they gave us more of the same than in Omega Ruby. Like with Sun and Moon, like what, there's a few extra Z moves in the Ultra in the Ultra version, but a lot of it was about the aliens.
For, like, Como O Light.
Yeah, but that's because Como was shite.
Yeah.
They fucked up they fucked up how that Pokemon works, because it's for a pseudo, it's awful.
I mean,
bad typing.
High attack, dragon and fighting, so it's quad weak to fairy.
Yeah, it's bad type, like psychic, fucking ice, like flying. Pretty much like, you know, your Elite Four can smash Como up no problem.
Yep.
You know. So they had to fix it to make it look viable. And again, but much to that point about Terra Styling, you can now put a type on Como to cover up its frailties. You can make it I don't know, like I guess a fire type, or a rock type or something. You can do something now that covers all of its weaknesses, and that's what I like about it. Is that, like, I think it will play. I think I have a Breloom that has a poison Terra type.
Will we get dual Terra types? Could that be something that we have? I
would be fascinated to see the inner mathematics of trying to calculate that.
Yep. But in essence, it would be, hey,
that'd be the next evolution of it, I guess.
Your Rattata's now fighting grass.
I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, I don't know whether you could justify it, whether that's overkill, considering that, like, Terra Style is inherently just so open-ended that anything can be anything. Yep. You know, I don't know whether you almost limit yourself with that. You know, and again, you don't want to go down the road of doing, like, regional variants or all these other stuff all the time. The one thing I would say is, though, if there is one gimmick they probably will keep for next generations, is probably the convergent species. your Toadstools and Wiglets.
Do you think?
Yeah, well, it's because it's something you can do in other areas. Like if you do, say,
you could do regional variants. I still don't see what the advantage in
a convergent species because it's
instead of it's just a regional.
Well, because like it's true to biology. It's the case they had this thing they had a common ancestor, but this thing was living in an aquatic environment. This one was underground. Therefore, you have
how is that any different to regional variants?
Because a regional variant is that it is still the same base animal, but because of its environment, it's had to adapt. This one is where you're starting off with essentially a pool of DNA, and both of them evolved the same way, but in different. Different principle.
Your last legs here.
Yep. And time to go sweeping. Time to go a sweeping.
He's got 3 or 4 today.
He has 4.
Yeah. Yeah, that wrong shot in its end.
Yes, exactly. Well, again, it's the logic of it. It needs to do a buff first to kill you, to wipe you out. Oh,
it has a superpower, doesn't it?
Yeah, and bullet punch.
Yeah, chicken out. Okay, grand. That's what I was thinking.
This game uses max revives. I'm going to use a max revive. Fuck off. Go and shite. So yeah, I kind of anticipated using superpower.
Yeah.
So it gets me out of trouble. And speed advantage.
And
swing.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, at least you could argue if they have a reason to use a convergent species, they'll use it. You know,
I don't know. It still seems like it's wasting a space.
Probably, I think especially with the ones that they had, it was a novelty. Yeah. You know, would you count Sinistea as a convergent species? Maybe,
yep.
Maybe. That's
Sinistea.
Yeah. It's technically one.
It's an extra space in the dex.
It's an extra space in the dex, but again, there's probably. I don't think it hasn't been used yet competitively to see whether it actually works or not. I'd be interested to see if it does, considering it seems to do it's a heal upon its arrival. So
something like that. I can't remember. But again, it isn't Regenerator thing that Slowbro already has.
Well, Regenerator heals itself, whereas this one it's Hospitality, so it's healing everything around it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll not.
It's like the move Tea Time that Sinistea has. So it's the same, but it's for everyone around.
Don't you have a poison type on that boy?
Acid armor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you cheese this one a little.
Again, if 2 can play that fucking game of max revives, lads, absolutely, I'm gonna play dirty. But yeah, that's the thing. That would be my pick for especially in Unova, you could justify kind of casting a few of the Pokemon, or again having say this is a Unovan whatever, we've had the conversation before that nowadays you'd probably call some of those Pokemon a variant
form.
Yeah,
I would also think just Meowth every gen should have a new regional.
Yeah, I mean they're cats.
They've done it 3 times.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't wait when they do North Africa and they have an actual Pharaoh kitty. Ground type. Proper.
I'd still like to see a Mexico done next, or an Aztec, or an Incan society.
What always fascinates me about it, and again we've mentioned this countless times, now that they are doing this kind of let's make a world of Pokemon type of thing, they are very specific with the regions. I've noticed because especially with I suppose with the landmass alone, England is fairly specific. It's the UK, Scotland, whatever you want to call it. GB essentially. Whereas
Isle of Man for DLC,
and the Isle of Man for DLC, of course, the sunny skies balmy. Of the Isle of Man, the balmy skies of Cornwall and the Isle of Man. But I would say, even if you're looking at the most recent iteration, that's the Iberian Peninsula. That's Spain. It's not all of Spain. It is that bit of Spain, Andorra, and Portugal. Kind of way. It's that kind of coastline. Yeah. And again, the outline looks Spanish, as it were, but it's Spain and Portugal. It's Spain and Portugal and Andorra. That's what they picked, And again, what have there been takeaways of Spanish culture is school excursions and sandwiches.
Yep.
It's odd. They picked very unusual things for it.
I mean, they looked at the GB and they took away football hooliganism and trains.
And curry.
Curry, yes.
Curry, famously the most British meal, curry. But like,
well, the most Spanish meal, sandwiches.
Sandwiches, yeah.
You know, paella sandwich.
I can't wait for when we do Ireland and this is like coddle. And just throw in all of your shit, spit in it, and serve it to your fucking family. That's gonna be mechanically quite good.
Oh yeah. Randomize your EVs.
Yeah, exactly. Or you go back to Unova and it's pie. That's all the. He's like, sweet delicious pecha pie.
Oh, they did like the regional sweet as being ice cream there, didn't they?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they did. But they can do they can always do a rehash.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're satisfied with doing like the all of Japan essentially is the is Johto, Kanto, Hoenn and Sinnoh. So they're now gonna try and do other places. So there's tons. They are spoiled for choice when it comes to where do you go with next.
Still hoping for some kind of remake for Coliseum or XD. Like it's sitting there ready to be used.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think there's certainly scope for that type of single player experience.
If people showed that they liked double battles in this DLC, you have a game where double battles was a big focus.
Yeah. And they justified it. They said, like, well, this is a competitive academy. We use double battles because that's the norm. It's like, yes, I love it. Like that like you give me a narrative reason for this to exist. That's what a lot of people just want to know.
Yep.
This is all we ask for half the time. Why does this thing exist? It's because of this. Thank you. Move along now.
That move really doesn't do much.
No. You need to be a dragon type to get the benefit of it, I think. Because like I said, it moves it from 40 to 60 base damage, and that does kind of make a bit of a difference.
Absolutely. Unless you have something like Technician, that would...
Yeah. Go on.
If you're not using it with something else, Kyurem's a very tough sell.
It is, and as I learned, then basically Horus just falls behind. It just can't keep up the pace. That's it. So I'm essentially so one more you've seen now in this battle is Delta Haxorus. Mm-hmm. Now we come to the main event. Yeah. So after a couple of goals, I kind of devise a proverbial strategy.
What type is this boy?
It's Psychic Dark, as I've learned from trial and error.
With a good move spread.
Yes.
Yeah. Alright, so keep hopping around your revival herbs until he starts struggling.
You have an opening. Well, there's ways and means. So basically the two ways to crack this guy open was Seed Bomb with my Metagross because it has a weak defense, or if you can line it up right. Well, Life Orb kind of helped out in the end.
Yeah, but that he killed himself.
He killed himself there, yeah. But otherwise, if the stars aligned, you could get a Hex out with Jack. Okay. But that didn't end up being the case anyway.
So is this his last one now at this stage?
No, he's still got a couple left over.
Not worked out well at all.
So I think he's got 3 left, I think, including this Tyranitar. And I still think he's still got a Mega in play as well. So.
Yeah, Icicle Crush.
Yeah, the accuracy was kind of like maybe
like you had to take that risk.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is a Mega.
Of course.
Now, so this is the kind of, as it were, the example of the fan-made Mega.
Yep.
Like the Mega Flygon, Electric Bug, or Flying Bug, or sorry, Ground Bug.
Okay.
Beg your pardon. Or is it Dragon Bug? Dragon Bug. And then you have this Mega or Delta Volcarona, yeah.
Which is in essence going to be here's Mega Volcarona, I'm guessing.
No. The Mega's used up now. That is, I believe, Poison Dark.
Okay.
So.
Poison and Dark. That's a bitch to kill. Like I'm thinking, Alolan Muck. I could never keep track of how am I supposed to kill it.
Yeah.
Apart from ground.
Ground helps, but this fella has Levitate.
There you go. But that's
and armor. So yeah.
Oh, he's armored. Oh, he is armored as well.
Yeah.
Grand.
So this is where I had to do a bit of hickory pokery to make it work. So, so the Dragon Bug Flygon and it gets a boost for all sound-based moves. So Dragon Pulse, Bug Buzz, and Boom
At least
Burst.
he's not using getting Moxie.
And utterly, stupidly fast as well.
Okay. Okay. that is going to involve some jiggering around.
Oh yeah. Again, I play dirty with this. I fully admit to playing dirty with this. Because, yeah, I've been doing this. I was fucking grinding this for a while. I wanted this done.
Fair enough.
So, again, if the game's going to use max revives, I'm going to do it better.
Again, that's you taking a risk that he's not going to...
Critical hits, yeah.
One hit oh.
With the last
Shit.
swing.
Oh, that was... Okay, that was brave.
That was brave,
That
yeah.
was brave, yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
Okay.
Champion of that. Again, there's not really anything that makes that a perfect team. It's just a lot of overpowered shit, essentially.
How long did that take you to win?
I mean, yeah, because it's overpowered. Like there's 6 broken Pokemon in a sense.
Yeah. Sounds perfect.
I guess it does, yeah. I mean, there's no strategy involved. It is just like broken thing meets broken thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't
like,
collide with each other.
I'd agree if he's going for perfect or like working in perfect harmony or something like that. One of the Elite Four before that was like I set up sweeps.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
So anyway, happy out.
Yeah, and that's it then.
So this closes us out with this. I think we've talked before. I had said like I've enjoyed, but it has been a very long game.
It has. It's one of the longer fan-made games out there. I've enjoyed
the Egglocke aspect of it most. I think.
Yeah, I think the
plot was
got good.
Definitely there, but I enjoyed the Egglocke and the randomizing aspect of that more than the plot.
Yeah.
What I will say then is if we are looking at what we could pick up next.
Yes.
There's been a few ones that I was looking up earlier on as being ones that I might look into.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being... One second, I have it here. Oh yeah, so just gotta enjoy.
There's our team.
Absolutely.
Our perfectly randomized team. Look at our strong boys. What a great bunch of lads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
if only that Delta Scizor was real. Holy fuck.
Oh yeah. No, some of the compared to Uranium, I think the ones they introduced in here balanced well.
Yeah.
They fit in well.
They do.
They matched the scheme. They matched the idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of them that are broken, but I think the joy is that like most of them are. So you have a choice, you have a variety of them, and again they're all relatively well designed as well. So there's not very many of those deltas that look a bit shit, and the ones that you don't really remember. So it's all the one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, there was one or two that I had seen. One of them being Ash Grey, which essentially takes the plot line of the anime.
Yes, I've played that.
Which runs with that. We've played that on the channel already, have we?
No, I've played it, and I do. There is a few programming bugs in it, so I had to be very wary of it. But it is an option. I have played it. I have played up as far as the Orange Islands in it actually, so I do know of it. So it is certainly an option for sure.
The next one was Pokemon Godra, or I kept reading as Gudra.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is which basically takes us through the it's set with things from the first 6 generations.
Mm-hmm.
You start from one of 2 locations based off a series, and with a starter, which is assigned to you based off of a questionnaire that you do at the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I basically looked up it as one of the completed ones.
Yeah.
The remastered version was released in mid-2020, in line with Gen 4 graphics and quality of life updates.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I'd be willing to give that a try.
Yeah. Okay.
The other ones I had seen were was it Pokemon Unbound?
Okay.
Based on with the Fire Red engine for Game Boy Advance. It brings new areas, side quests, mega evolutions, max raids, Z moves, all that kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Yes, it's all everything essentially.
It's all everything.
Yeah.
Now that one I was hemming in hand because I don't want to get bogged down in in the extensiveness of it.
Yeah. But I suppose like if we wanted to pick the hypothetical of like what would we like to have everything, that's an intriguing option. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to Unbound actually on that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the other one, I don't know if you'd seen Dark Rising, which was described as Dark Souls of Pokemon.
I've heard of Dark Rising, yes. I've heard of Dark Rising. Yes, I know this one of like relatively offhand. Yeah. Again, I would be. I wouldn't say. I don't know if I'm 100% intrigued, but like, yeah, no. Again, these are ones I wouldn't say no to outright. Yeah.
So those being one or two of my like, hey, what I'd be happy with picking up. Just as one or two wee suggestions.
Yeah.
And did I say Reborn is another one that I had seen floated about? I think I mentioned that on one of the previous episodes. It again advertised as extensive, but also one of the more well known ones.
Yeah, Reborn is certainly one that like it's a typical. It's that kind of like long form ROM hack that I am aware of. I'm intrigued to see what these kind of like ones are like, because there's certain ones where like, okay, what have you done differently with it, if you know what I mean? Like what's your selling point with these? What's your hook?
One thing with these fan made ones is, and I'd kind of pointed Uranium for this, is it decided to like, let's throw everything at the wall.
Yeah.
So you could have cut down a lot of content out of it and not lost anything from it.
True, yeah.
So throwing Megas and Z Crystals and Dream World and
everything,
and you forget what the point of the plot was.
Yeah.
Especially if we're dipping into this every few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to remember the ins and outs of these kind of plots.
That's very true. Yeah, that's
Not that much.
That's a kind of the tricky wicket for us in a sense, is that like the plot is what it is for Insurgents, and it's spaced out enough that like, oh yeah, I remember this thing, and then we can move on from there. You know. Yeah. So, like, I know from my point of view, I'm kind of inclined to try and find something similar.
Yeah.
But the problem is that each one is going to be a long haul type of playthrough. So that's kind of the trade off that we have.
Yeah.
Like, I know from my side, like, I really enjoy playing Prism, but the problem is that there's no plot really to hook you back into it, you know, and especially for us trying to play Prism, that was the only the reason to play was the novelty of like, oh look, here's all these Gen 4 Pokemon in Crystal, and that's meh. You know, I personally like Prism. I think it's very well rounded. It's mechanically sound. It works well. But there's no hook, there's no selling point, you know, and that's kind of the issue we have. So we need to kind of like, that's the ones we'd be looking at. I had my eye on I've been keeping an eye on the Pokemon Coral project, because I like the way it looks. Again, I love the Gen 2 aesthetic. It's the most recent update is 2022, which I think gets as far as the first 2 gyms, I think. And it looks very original. It's like all kind of like new music and totally different lands and stuff like that. It looks great, but I'd be inclined to wait until it's all finished.
Yeah.
You know,
And
especially for something
again,
like that.
that would be one that I'd kind of agree. I'd like playing something that's half finished.
Yeah, it's that's the trouble. Yeah. So
yeah, I'd say we'll be look forward for the channel, and we'll see what fan games or what other similar series we may be able to find that we'll pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find something. Like we kind of mentioned on the series before. Why don't we just jump into fucking Pokemon XD?
I have it.
Yeah, why not?
I'd say let's go with it.
Let's do it. Yeah, I think we'll do XD next. You know, give ourselves a break from the X.
Wait, you need to do Coliseum first.
Oh well, sorry, that's what I meant. Pokemon Coliseum.
Coliseum come, and then XD. I haven't played yet, but is in the same vein. Like it's your Black and Black 2 essentially.
Yeah. Well, then let's do it. Let's do Pokemon Coliseum next.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that works out, because that'll be a Pokemon content for a while until we unveil our big project when it's done. So that'll tide us over until then. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let's do it then.
Right,
all
folks. Watch the space later.
Yes, indeed. Next time on our Pokemon arc of this channel, Pokemon Coliseum.
Happy days.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you then.